And I knew that I could do well in real estate if I put my mind to it. If I could do the things that agents I was coaching wouldn't do, I could be successful. And I looked at the landscape of where I could specialize. I knew it was important to specialize, and I chose probate. And because I had had a couple of probate speakers come into our office and said, I could do that. It kind of fit my personality. My father was an attorney. I used to work part-time when I was in high school and college for my dad's law firm. My clients, as a result, had a lot of them had been attorneys. But I knew the language, knew the business. I also enjoyed going to court. I enjoyed wearing suits and ties. So for me, that fit. And I took the precursor course of this. And in the course of the discussion, not only did I learn about probate, but the coach threw out a challenge, which was go to court and see what happens, see what your clients are seeing. And I thought, that's a great idea. And so I went with the idea of going one day, and it was fascinating, just completely fascinating. Now, LA is the largest probate court in America. We have 99% of all of LA County in one building, which is not usual. We also have we're the poorest county in America. People don't realize that, but LA has some very wealthy people. We're the largest percentage of impoverished people, the largest number of people on welfare and homeless in America. And probate skews lower income. And so we have a lot of probate cases, and there's enough to be fascinated by on a daily basis. I went there every day for a week, and then I decided to go for a month. And I wrote a business plan for myself and included my lead generation of going to court every day. And that's how I started this business. Really, March 2020, kind of November 2019 and March 2020 kind of launched full-time on lead generation. And so who knows what else happened around that same time period? I'm going to court every day. And I started to get some deals. I put them in escrow. Anybody have any idea what happened around then? So the court closed, and I had at the time a bunch of pendings. I'll need court approval. And I remember, sitting at my desk crying, saying, I worked so hard to get this thing relaunched, and all the deals were going to cancel. And what am I going to do? And so one of the things I came up with was to replace, at that time, during COVID, when everything was locked down, with online video. And so I started a podcast, Probate Weekly, about 5.5 years ago. And so since that time, I've used that as my majority of my lead generation. I supplement that by going to real estate events and by seeing attorneys and meeting them for referrals. I've always worked on a B2B basis. My business is based on referrals from professionals, not cold calling individual families or petitioners. And I built a great business where I have, to speak realtor speak, my gross commission income, I just did my taxes last year, finished them up, just short of $400,000. I'll do more than that this year. I also flipped a property, made a lot of money. I also I'm with eXp Realty. I have a team of people below me that generate some revenue. I have some other source of revenue as well. One of my clients pays me money to be a broker of record, separate from my real estate commissions. So it's been a great business. I work about 30 hours a week, to be honest. I have a very structured schedule so I can be healthy and exercise and get my spiritual time in and time with my family. And so all that's a result of being able to hyper-focus on a niche that creates value for me and my clients through this probate. And one of the key factors was this call. Because, we all, by definition, if you're struggling, it's because you're not talking to enough people. You don't know enough people to talk to enough people. And rejection is very lonely. And so one of the few places I had as a refuge when I started was this call. Again, the precursor, but this call basically. And so when the founder of Probate Mastery, Chad, at one point couldn't continue the call, I stepped in and did it as a substitute. And I don't know how long I did it for, 6 months or so. I don't really remember. And then I watched Bruce come in and take it over, and I've also assisted him and continue to offer myself as a substitute and try to help out when I can. And here's the thing I want you all to hear, I need this call. Like, I need the camaraderie. I need the encouragement. I want to be successful. I want to inspire you to be successful. I want to learn from you. I want you to do things that I don't do so I can learn to do them better. I think I do a lot of things that you guys might think of as magic. But I'm doing one thing you're not. And if you do one thing I'm not, that's something I can learn from and leverage in my business. So just to kind of give a couple examples, and I know Bruce has talked a lot about using AI. I'll give you a couple interesting examples. One of the things I do, I'm in LA and I join as an affiliate the Bar Association. I'm not an attorney, but just like realtors, we have affiliates, typically mortgage and escrow and title. The Bar Association has that. So I joined the LA Bar. As a result, I talk to attorneys, and they have online services where they ask questions and they talk about things, and where I can help out, I answer questions. Now, I don't sell on that. I try to be of service on that. But literally just yesterday, an attorney reached out to me and said, "Hey, we have these 3 properties. Together, they're worth about $5 million, but they're owned as fractional interest. My client owns about 50 of one, 33% of another, 15 of another, about 33% of the 5 million. But what is it worth if we sell them without the other parties? It's called fractional interest." And so I know that. I've done numerous of these in probate. It's not uncommon in probate. I know that in general, you take about a 30% discount. So if the property's worth $1 million, if you're going to sell your share, let's say the property, your share is 50%, so your share is worth $500,000 at a retail price. But if you're going to sell it without the other partner, you're only going to get about $350 for it, as a general rule. And I know that's a number that's kind of accepted by appraisers to some degree and the IRS to some degree. But when the person asked me, I kind of was writing out my answers. And I thought, you know what? I wonder what ChatGPT says. And I wonder what Google's AI Gemini says. And I use both those to kind of supplement my information. Now, most real estate agents don't even know what fractional interest is or understand the effect it would be in a probate. So I have to know a little bit. And the AI is like a booster on my rocket. I already have a rocket, and it's a booster, right? So what I want to tell you guys is I think AI is a tool to help you that if you commit yourself to learning, will super rocket you forward versus the competition who doesn't even know that there's such information or there's such issues to even talk about. And so I use it for that. Also, I had a good idea of what the cap rates were for these kind of properties. One of the common things about probate is you have the chance to work outside of residential properties. Now, somebody says, "What's this house worth?" Pretty easy these days, right? You look at Zillow, you look at Redfin, Realtor.com, MLS has some pretty easy comps. Commercial, non-residential is harder. But usually it's based on the cap rate, the value of the property's income flow. And I kind of know those numbers, but it was easy in ChatGPT just to say, "Hey, here's the property, here's an attachment to the property profile. For this kind of property, what's the range of cap rates?" It gave me a couple answers. And so rather than just giving them a couple sentences, which I've done in the past, I gave her a nice 3-page analysis that took my input and supercharged it. So I think that's the power of AI for us to use, is both to learn and then to take what we know and make it more valuable. So I just want to kind of send that out as a charge today, and to kind of add on to, I know Bruce is really on a mission to get you all on board on using AI, and I would say definitely. But rather than what I see a lot of videos on how to post a lot more content that nobody cares about, how to replace yourself with some robotic face that's going to do all your social media, I would say focus on being more valuable to your clients. And whatever they ask you for, just learn how to do a better job of that. And in my case, often attorneys will ask me for valuations or strategies, and the AI is a powerful tool to help me provide better answers or more complete formatted answers on all that. Okay, that all said, if you have questions, raise your hand, put in the chat box. I'm going to try to catch up on the chat box stuff. I can go on for a while, but actually I'm going to jump off at 11:30. I have another attorney meeting on a property where we just got appointed full 30, and there's a professional fiduciary and attorney. And so when Bruce asked me to fill in today, I said I can, but I have to jump off at 11:30 because I have a appointment. So I'm sorry I have to do that. But okay, Winston says, "Nice beard." Yeah, for religious reasons, in the past, I have kind of like the opportunity or the, oh yeah, I'm Jewish, and so it's common for men to have beards for spiritual reasons. And in the past, I shaved it because I wanted to be more marketing focused. And these days, my business is good enough where I really don't care, and I feel more committed to my spiritual growth. And so as long as I keep it trim, I think my wife and daughter didn't complain too much. So I grew it out this year. I'm keeping it. So I'm going to actually redo all my branding with new photos as a result. Okay, so let's see. In the chat box, I took probate training a year ago. How do I get active once again? Patricia Sonati, Long and Foster. Patricia, reach out to Lou on this call. He's LU. He's here on the call right now. Just and Lou, if you can see that, there you go. He responded to that. Good job. Kristen says, "I went to court to see how all that plays out. The window to talk to the court clerks only open on Wednesdays. I had to get permission from everyone in the courtroom to sit in the case." That's interesting, Kristen. What county, what state and what county are you in? Because in California, now there's different types of hearings. Conservatorships, guardianships are typically closed hearings. But most areas I've been to, and I've been to a lot, have like a court calendar hearing where it sets the day off and they'll list all the actions. And at that hearing, they'll set times for more formal hearings. And so that part is open to the public in California by law, so anybody can go in there. So I would just check and see. It might be that you went in on a court day, El Paso County, Colorado. It might be you're going to hearings, but you really want to see the court calendar, or there's different types of hearings you might ask about or look online. One of the things I have a team, and anybody who's interested in talking about joining it with me, I'm with eXp Realty, and I'm looking to sign up people across the country and give them kind of intensive my system, what I've been doing. But I would say my charge to you, Chris, would be go to El Paso County Probate Court online and search everywhere you can for all the information. My guess is there's information online. If not, go in person. My guess is somebody can direct you to where the calendar hearing is. And there are some hearings, I'm sure, that are open to the public. My guess is you walked in on one that wasn't, if it's a conservatorship or guardianship, because those are more private family matters.
Yeah, no, when I went to court, I can get a printout of all of the court proceedings that are going on for probate, whether it's an estate, whether it's a conservatorship, whatever. So I went into the courtroom to sit in on the court, but the actual court clerk window where you would go up to the window and say, hello,
yes, yeah,
that's only open on Wednesdays to the public.
Okay.
So when I went in, then I had to get permission from the attorneys and the clients to actually sit in on the case. So I was there at 1 o'clock, and they have a court case every hour. So I was only able to see 2 of the cases because one of them was fairly personal. So
right. So you talk about that. So again,
that's 3 hours for 2 court cases.
Yeah. So in almost all jurisdictions, there's a general calendar hearing where the judge will go through 5 or 10 or 20 cases and kind of set the status or set the hearing date coming up. What you went to was a specific hearing on a specific matter, and those sometimes have limitations on getting inside. So you just need to find out where the more general calendar hearing or the calendar of the day is, or some sort of a phrase they use that covers that, because the people in the hearing didn't get there by accident. They went to the calendar hearing, and at that hearing, the judge said, okay, we're going to schedule this for August 17th in Division 24, whatever. So again, you went, and this happens a lot. A lot of people will go in LA and they'll wander in the afternoon. The afternoon tends to be more intensive court hearings that often are private. The public hearings are the first thing in the morning, typically in most jurisdictions. In LA, they're 8:30. So again, whether online or in person, here's the thing I want you all remember, because I often tell people the strategy, and they'll tell me how hard it is. And I want to say to you is, understand that the harder it is for you, the harder it is for your competitor. It's kind of like climbing over a wall. Once you're over, you're the only person over the wall typically. Everybody else is behind you now. Once you're over the wall, you want the wall as tall as possible. Yeah. So you just haven't yet, I don't think, figured out the right time and place to be. And I'd say keep looking at it, because that's not what you're looking for. The private individual hearing on one case.
Yeah, the ones where they set the appointments, those are all on Monday morning, and they're all by phone.
Well, there you go. Then do that. I would say go to that and learn as much as you can there. Now, I will say, when I have court matters on that equivalent in LA, we're allowed to video in. We're a little bigger county or whatever.
Okay.
I'll hear the judge will call me to appear and say, Bill Gross, and I'll say, hi, Bill Gross, and what's your role matter? I'm a real estate broker. Every attorney on that call hears my name being called. That's like great advertising. So again, I can't speak specifically to El Paso County, but I would say in general, those open calendar hearings are very valuable. I'm surprised it's only on the phone. That doesn't sound right to me, but if it is, it is. Yeah, and I would say then all the more reason to be there. If it's only a phone call, then you can do it from your home office. There's no excuse. And if it's only at 8:30 in the morning, well, great. There's no place else you need to be at 8:30 in the morning, I would say.
Yeah. So I'll have to figure out how to do that. It looks like they're just calling a whole bunch of people at 8:30
Beautiful.
in the morning.
Beautiful.
So I don't know how I can sit in on that. I'm thinking the judge is in his office making phone calls, or his clerks are in the office making phone calls. I don't know. I'll have to figure that part out. So thank you very much for that information.
Well, and judges figured it out. Come back and tell us how it happened, because again,
Okay.
the purpose of this call is we all learn together. We become like a hive mind where we all learn, and it's a little
Right.
different in your county than other counties, but it's probably similar in your county to other counties in California that I have people on my team going to. So I would say, please bring back the answer.
All right. And then how do I set appointments with the attorneys? I don't want to just walk into the office, right, with maybe
Right.
nothing but bundt cakes. I don't know. Instead of cookies, I got somebody going, yeah, that's what you want to do. Okay, Guy, talk to me. How does that work?
On who Guy is. If you're talking others,
They'll always open the door for cookies. I guarantee you. There's gatekeepers. When you call this gatekeeper, Bill taught me this. Bill, thank you. Brother, it's good to see you. The beard looks great on you. Haven't seen y'all in a couple of years, and almost a year now. There's gatekeepers. To get past the gatekeepers, you meet the receptionist. Bring your cookies, go get your edible flower arrangement, and go make a friend in the front office. Walk in the door, hand them your trifold, and tell them what you do. It works.
So what I would say, I started this business in the mortgage business. So I started real estate as a mortgage lender in 1986. In those days, you made a living by going into big real estate offices, but the real estate offices had their own mortgage lender. They didn't want to allow you in. And yet, I had to find some way past. So what do? Well, when you're like me, you use your good looks and charm, and whatever you have to do, you learn where the manager is. You learn what time people are around. You learn what time people aren't around. And I actually had like a milk run. I went to certain offices twice a week, other ones once a week. I strategically look for people in certain places. I kept track of the bigger offices. So I don't know specifically, again, El Paso County is different than every other county, and you need to develop a strategy. And also the strategy should be appropriate for you. Like for me, bringing cookies is the wrong message. I'm already overweight, A. B, I only keep kosher, so they're more expensive, and what's the big deal? Well, for one thing, a cookie is not a big deal, but if you're going to bring in cookies every week, it adds up over a year, and doubling your cost becomes significant. And C, I also feel like I want my marketing to reflect my personality. So I would never go in without an appointment personally. I might have a junior on my team go in and say, I work on Bill Gross's team and I'm the junior. And here's a flyer that describes fractional interest. Here's a flyer that describes non-residential property in probate, and whatever value I would want to bring out, I would have them do that. But if your contribution or your value to your customer partially is your relationship and that you're a warm and friendly person and personable, yeah, cookies is great. And just make sure whatever you do is consistent with the value you're going to create with people. So for me, how do I meet attorneys? Well, the truth is, once I started the video, I would call attorneys and invite them on my podcast. And it was hard at first. I'd call about 4 or 5 for everyone that said yes. I would track my numbers. After time, I got better at asking, and I got more successful, more followers. I went from 4 to 1 to 3 to 1 to 2 to 1 to now I get people reach out to me to ask to be on my podcast. I have team members who'll say, hey, Bill, I have a great attorney in San Diego, Bakersfield, Texas, North Carolina. Can I get them on your podcast? I'll say, yeah, because that's part of my role in the team. So what I would say is whatever you do to generate business, you're going to, you want to commit to it and get better at it over time. If you're talking about making cookies, yeah, I think that's a great idea. And you want to think about how can you be more effective, maybe how you wrap it, maybe you enclose some sort of a value piece or something. I don't know, but whatever it is you do, commit to it, constantly improve it, and then just make sure it's consistent with what you want to do. And whatever you do, just know you're going to have to do it for a period of time. It's not a one-shot deal. You're not going to drop off cookies once and get business. You're going to have to be there probably 10 times before they'll even give you a lead. Does that help a little bit? Okay, Kristen, I saw a hand up and now it's down. Cam's hand was up and maybe he went off to make some money or something. So Cam, if you want to put your hand back up, I'll call on you. Otherwise, let me go back to the chat box here. That's Lou. Kristen asked a question. Ron Smith, how do you join the LA Attorney Bar Association as an affiliate, and is there a fee? Yes, there's a fee. And LA Bar, I don't know how I found it, but I'm on it. LA Bar, that's a good question.
I think you found it on Google.
I'm sure I found it on Google. I'm sure. That's a familiar voice, Bruce. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, there's in LA though. We have a LA bar, we have a Beverly Hills bar, we have a Culver City, Santa Monica, Orange County has one. So make sure you pick the one that works best for you and has the right kind of events for you. So, for example, I used to go to court all the time, and they had events in downtown LA. Well, that worked for me. Today it doesn't. Today there's a Century City and a Beverly Hills. They're closer to me. That when they have events make more sense. Though today, all honesty, I don't want to go out at night anymore. I have enough business where I don't need to do that. So again, find the right group for you, but just know within LA Bar, there's multiple sub-organizations that can help you get the right one that's going to be most effective for you. Okay, Camille wants to see the rest of Melanie Hand's backdrop. And is the rest of her title the probate nurse? Yes, it is. I know that for a fact. And let's see, Cam, I go to 5 attorneys offices a week and do it and bring something, never go somewhere empty-handed. 100%. I love that, Cam. Bring notepads, pens. You can get some swag made up from your company or on your own. Cookies are great. Food, muffins, Starbucks cards. What I have done is call the attorney and say, hey, I'm in the area. Let's pop by and say, hi, can I pick you up a coffee at Starbucks or something at Starbucks, and we can sit and chat for a little bit and bring something in. So I'm definitely on the don't show up empty-handed. I was raised that way by my mom. Cam says cookies or donuts. Oh man, donuts. Oof. I can't bring in that. I mean, I can. I probably would eat them all in the car before I got out of my car. But
I brought you a half a donut.
I'm sorry?
I brought you a half a donut.
You know, when Krispy Kreme's opened up, I used to have 2 employees in my office, 2 assistants, and I went to Krispy Kreme's, which is about a 30-minute drive from my house, and you buy like a dozen, and they give you like a free one, and the light's on, you get another free one, and there's something else, and I got like 15 donuts. I show up at the office with like 5, so I said I can't do this ever again. So I'm like a coke addict. I cannot go to Krispy Kreme donuts. That would be a problem for me. So, okay, hey, Bruce Hill's here. Bruce, thank you for letting me have a chance to come warm the crowd up for you. I'm sorry I have to run off. I do have 11:30 with some attorneys on a new listing. I'm not really apologizing all that much. Maybe I'm bragging. Does that sound like I'm bragging, or I'm apologizing?
It's a brag apology.
Okay.
It's filling both roles.
Well, but thanks for the chance to fill in here today, you guys, and hopefully my story helps inspire you to continue. Bruce is going to point you in the right direction. I'm here almost every week. I listen in or watch or try to participate. If I can help, feel free to reach out to me. Bruce, thanks for the chance to lead it today.